तत्त्वज्ञानमप्ययन्नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मन्नाथ श्रीजगन्नाथः मद्गुरुः श्रीजगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिर्नामश्च गुरुः परमदैवतम् गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता
वामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। We are in the last mantra of the second Mundaka, first portion, and so we will look at that very important mantra and beautiful also, and with some nice summation of this whole section. Let us look at that. Purusha evedam eva idagum sarvam. This is the mantra in the Purusha Sukta. Purusha evedagum sarvam yat bhutam yat cha bhavyam, like this we say. And that same thing, that same sentiment, that all this is Purusha, and that which was known as Akshara in the last, what is that called? In the last several mantras, is converted to Purusha. Why? When we talk about Akshara, it is from the standpoint of Brahman, which is neuter. So Aksharam Brahma and Purusho Vai Ishvaraha. This Purusha is the Ishvara. So the word Purusha is come here in the last mantra of the second section, the part 1. So 2, 1, 10. The Purusha, the word Purusha is there. And this is to understand that when we talk about creation, the so-called creation, when we address, then this Brahman does not really, then there is a question. How can this Brahman, who cannot create, who does not move, does not act, is not a doer, how can this whole creation come from such a person? And there is no answer to that. The answer to that is that the creation really did not come. And if one is pressed to talk about the creation, then we have to bring in the factor called the creative force, Maya, etc., endowed with which this Brahman gains a new epithet, Ishvara, aka Purusha. The word Purusha is front and center here, and the word Purusha has got two vyutpattis, two derivations. In the first instance, it is referred to as the jiva. The first derivation refers to the jiva because the first derivation says the one that is, as it were, trapped slash sleeping in the citadel, in a fortress with 9 portholes with which to interact with the universe. And what is that? That we know it is the human body. So this is the first derivation of Purusha. Puri Shete or Purau Ushati. Ushati means Vasati. Purau Ushyate. Like this, we can have the first derivation. We've talked about this before. So the first derivation of the word Purusha refers to this human being experiencing a certain kind of an entrapment in this citadel of this body mind sense complex. Why is it an entrapment experience? Because I want to do so many things, but I can't. I want to fly like a bird, but I can't. I'm land bound. I want to soar in the skies, but I can't. Not on my own anyway. I need all kinds of other gadgets and everything. And then so physical limitations are there. Mentally speaking limitations are there. Why? Because I can't remember what I had for breakfast. I can barely remember. So mental limitations are there, emotional limitations are there. Everything is too much. I need time alone. I need time to process. I can't do this. Too many people, too much crowds, all these things. And so financially, of course, limitations are there. Other person's bank account looks much better than my bank account. Financially, I'm limited. And then what? People wise, I'm limited. All the people who surround me are also limited. And then accumulating more people is not going to make that go away, because this limitation is such that the more I have people surrounding me, the more they're finite, and all the people only serve for me to be in touch with my own finitude. And so, therefore, there is a sense of entrapment. This is the entrapment. And the notion of being entrapped or trapped in this body mind sense complex, which is a house. And then, what kind of a house? A house with bars on it. Oh, gold bars. No, no, no. Another kind of bars, prison bars that you can count to while away the time. And so this is the feeling, and the feeling of this Purusha, the Jiva. The first Purusha refers to the Jiva, and the feeling of the Jiva is, please let me out of this. Please get me out somehow. But there is no way out, and death is not really a way out, because death is just like a kite flying. Lord Yama is flying the jiva, a kite, into various lokas, but still tethered to certain laws of Ishvara. And then after that, what? It comes floating down to Martya Loka, the world of mortals, and then is born again. Born is gone. So there is no respite from this. And so this is the first derivation of Purusha, and the reason why people come to Vedanta. And the main reason why the person comes to Vedanta is to overcome this feeling of entrapment. I don't want to be entrapped. I don't want to have this experience. Fortunately, the word Purusha also means Ishvara, but through an entirely different derivation. That which fills up everything is Purusha. Sarvan Purayati, that which fills up everything. Like a river, or flowing river, that fills up all the things that are there, potholes and any kind of other depressions, and everything it just fills up and keeps flowing also without undergoing any change, without any loss of water. It will keep flowing. And this is how the derivation of the second Purusha, actually there's only one Purusha, but in the mind of the person who is still in the process of gaining this knowledge, there would be two, or there would be at least a mental separation, which this mantra hopes to remove. Hopes to remove that separation by using, first of all, by using the word Purusha. And this Purusha is that, so this Purusha, which is described here as that which fills up the entire universe with its presence. And that's the whole thing. And like there is no place for the individual, as is shown in the story of, what is that person's name? Mahabali. Mahabali was a king who prided himself with the idea that I am the greatest giver. Nobody else can give more than me. So the giving usually, if somebody wants to be known for how much they give, it's a compensation, it's an overcompensation for some other lack or something like that in life. And not always, but sometimes it can be. And so this is the challenge here, is how to give without really wanting to be known as a big giver. And Mahabali was the king who was the huge giver, and everybody knows this story. What happens? Lord Vishnu, dressed in the guise of a dwarf, a small little man, goes to the king after his bath and says, I would like just 3 steps from you. And all the ministers and people around the king laugh. First of all, little fellow, little feet, and then 3 steps worth of land. Of course, take, take, take. And then Vishnu assumes his form. What form? Vishvarupa. The whole universe, a universal form. 1 foot takes up the entire world, the whole earth, the entire planet is covered by 1 foot. The other foot takes care of all the other galaxies, stars, everything, antariksha, everything. And he says, where shall I put the 3rd foot? You said, Mahabali, you'll give me 3 feet of land. Where is the 3rd foot? And Mahabali knows, and he says, put it on my head. And then the force of the 3rd foot on Mahabali's head takes him straight to the nether world. If there is a word called netherest, yeah, that would be where he is. Patala. the last frontier here of the 7 down. We have 7 lokas up, meaning more comfortable, and 7 down, less comfortable. And he is asked to rule over Patala. He becomes a netherworld king, king of the netherworld. In fact, it's a blessing, because king of the netherworld means what? That's where the ego must be. The ego is represented by his head and his whole demeanor of being or wanting to be the greatest giver. And then, and the ego is pushed to the netherworld, and netherworld means the world of the unconscious mind. That is where the ego's job is to rule over, to have overlordship of the unconscious mind and not let the unconscious mind take over. And so here the ego is in servitude of the knowledge of Vishnu. The word Vishnu itself means all pervasive. And so, like this verse encourages us to understand the non-separation between the world and Ishvara. What about Jiva and Ishvara? That will come in the next section. We have something to look forward to there. Here, The world is not separate from Ishvara. That is the idea, because we saw how from this Akshara, from this Purusha, everything has come, and this Akshara was converted to Purusha to understand Ishvaratvam. And so now this is a wonderful summary. The meter doesn't work to chant it, so I'll just read it. Purusha evedam vishvam karma tapo brahma paramritam etadyo veda nihitam guhayam saha avidya granthim vikirati iha somya. Somya. Oh dear one. Dear one what? Oh dear one. This is the teacher addressing the student. Angiras addressing Shaunaka. So this way we know it is still a continuing dialogue, Sambada. And then what? Hey Somya, oh dear one. This whole, everything that this universe is nothing but the Purusha. Because we saw mountains have come from the Purusha, and then this has come from the Akshara and Purusha, and everything interchangeably used. Mountains have come from Purusha, the Sindhavaha, the bodies of water have come from Purusha, Samudraha, all the oceans have come from Purusha. And then after some time, after listing the birds and the bees and everything, then it's as though the Upanishad says, okay, fine, enough. Now let's just summarize this whole thing and see what is here. So Purusha eva idam vishvam. Vishvam means what? Then this is, Vishwam means the whole universe. And Vishwam means the entire universe, including the body, mind, sense complex. This Vishwa, which I thought was separate from me, which I thought is separate from the Lord, is just one. Is just the Lord Himself, herself. Is this Ishvara endowed with Maya Shakti. Purusha eva. Eva means only. This whole world is just the Purusha, nothing else but the Purusha. Purusha here a Purusha, there a Purusha, everywhere Purusha, Purusha, Purusha. Yeah, old Mac Jiva. Because been around, that's why old. and no, didn't have a farm, had a gripe. Ayyayo, he kept saying, I'm separated, I'm severed from myself, I'm severed from Ishvara, etc. And then what is the teaching? Here a Purusha, there a Purusha, wherever you look, Purusha, Purusha, Purusha. And so this is the summation, very beautiful. Purusha eva idam vishvam. Idam vishvam. That whatever you say using the word, the preposition, the pronoun, this world means objectified by you. This world that is objectified by the 5 sense organs and inference and everything. So whatever you call this, meaning it is away from you, right? But then what is this object? The object is nothing but the subject. This is the beautiful here, the beautiful summation here. This is the beauty here. So the object, Vishwa, idam vishvam. You don't say aham vishvam. You don't say aham. You say idam. You don't confuse it. So sometimes confusion happens, but that's a different story that is talked about in Ajnanam. And to establish, to understand Atma Ajnanam, self, what is that? Ignorance. But here, Purusha evam idam vishvam. There is nothing other than the Purusha. All that there is what? Purusha, Purusha, Purusha. Whatever I see, Purusha. And now the very important question, who is the seer? Seer is also Purusha. A fact that will be taken up a little later in the next section. But for now, this Purusha is what is being talked about very, very, very beautifully. So Purusha evam idam vishvam. But then what about me? This world is the Purusha. But then listen to the next words. Karma tapo brahma paramritam. So here we have to say Purushaha eva idam vishwam, and then forget this karma tapaha, we'll see that later. Brahma paramritam. So idam vishwam brahma paramritam. This is one sentence. Idam vishwam brahma paramritam. All these words are in apposition, not opposition, okay? Apposition. And so that means they are in Samanadhikaranya. They are in the same case, number and gender, which means that this idam vishwam is qualified by the words Brahma and Paramritam. So idam vishwam, this world which I thought was finite, this world which was the cause of my sorrow, this world which I thought was coming to an end, and every single thing was making me mad because all my pursuits were ending in dead ends. And so this kind of a Vishwam is now revealed as Brahman alone. And what kind of Brahman? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam, that which is not only not coming to an end, but the source of all existence. Jnanam, Sarvajna, all knowledge. And then Ananta, that which never comes to an end. So the Jagat is Brahman. Vishwam is Brahman. And what kind of Brahman? Parabrahma and Amritam Brahma. Param Brahma and Amritam Brahma. Amritam Brahma means the one that is not coming to an end, free of death, free of disease, free of finitude, free of limitations. Para means absolutely, because we also have devatas, the citizens of heaven and other such celestials, the denizens of various lokas, who are also called immortal and who can live for a long time. This is what is called Pravaha Nityatvam. They also have Nityatvam. But they all resolve at the end of the Kalpa. Even Brahmaji, Indra, all these people, their tenure, their lifespan, Yama, all these celestials, it comes to an end at the end of the Kalpa. When everything Pralaya takes place, they also have to give up their tenure and their role goes away. So they are also called Nitya. And in fact, Nachiketa tells Lord Yama, all right, there is one advantage in heaven. Na tatratvam na jaraya bibheti. You are not allowed there. So that is good. You ain't there. And so that is nice. So that means what? Lord Yama has no entry in heaven. This is Shruti Vakya. So Lord Yama has no entry in heaven means all the celestials, as long as they are in heaven, they are not sick and not about to die and do not meet with death or any kind of ending. So no limitations, no endings. So here the word param is used, param and amritam. So we have some kind of relative amritatvam which the devas and other citizens of heaven enjoy, but here it is absolute amritam, not qualified by Lord Yama's absence, or not dependent upon certain factors like the pralaya and the end of kalpa, etc. In fact, kalpa is Brahman, time is Brahman, space is Brahman, the whole Jagat is Brahman. That is absolutely free of time, absolutely free of limitations, absolutely free of being a particular body in time, a particular mind that deteriorates in time. So this is what this world is. So now we started off with three. We started off with what? With Brahman, Jagat, Jiva. Actually, we started off with Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. And then now, as the Jiva looks on, in this section, the Jagat and Ishvara have become one. The Jagat has been swallowed up. Oh, but that is so scary. Don't be scared. It has not been swallowed up. It has been swallowed up in the sense the Jagat has not disappeared per se, but the Jagat has, as it were, lost its in one's mind or in one's awareness. The Jagat has lost its status of being some kind of a spit up of Ishvara, some kind of a projection that Ishvara has spit up, and then is separated from Ishvara, and it will come to an end. So the Jagat is like a little burp of Ishvara. No, the whole Jagat is pervaded by Ishvara. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. So first we started off with three separate entities. Myself, a crying, pining, jaded, faded jiva, an individual, unmoored and flailing in samsara, in all kinds of afflictions, all kinds of perceived finitude. And then I'm told that whatever I see is Ishvara. Whatever I see is Brahman. Wherever I go is Brahman. In fact, the whole Jagat is a manifest, dynamic form of Brahman. All the namas, rupas, Ishvara. And what sustains the nama rupa, that Satyam Jnanam Anantam, is Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. And so now there is only myself and what? Ishvara. The Jagat is gone. The Jagat has been resolved in this whole section into Ishvara. There is only one thing. And what is that one thing? Ishvara. And then so there is me and Ishvara left. Oh, that's not nice. What about me? Now that is, what about the Jiva? That is connected beautifully in these two words, karma and tapaha, tapas. That's where the Jiva comes in. The Jiva walks into Ishvara using the bridge of karma and tapas. Very, very beautiful. This whole Vishwa, this whole manifest universe is nothing but Brahman. And then along with what? Karma and tapas. What do you mean karma and tapas? Look at this. You get up in the morning, okay? And what time did you get up? Let's say you woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning today. And then when you woke up in the morning at 6 o'clock, why did you wake up at 6 o'clock? Why not at 7 o'clock? No, because I had things to do. Okay, karma, action. You had things to do. That's why you set the alarm, because you had to go to work at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So you set the alarm and woke up. So there was a volition, there was an agency, and so karma as action. We have to see with the word karma as action as well as the result of action, both. So karma is action here, and this karma here, the action is what makes my connection to the Jagat. How is the individual connected to the Jagat? Through action alone. Why did you wake up at 6? Because that's when I had to get up. I had an important meeting I had to attend. I had a class I had to teach. I had to do something. And so, therefore, this is what the whole day is what? One action after another action. You look at somebody's digital diary, because nobody keeps diaries now. Okay, it's all digital. It's all put in the computer. And then what happens? And then Bhagavan decides to lock you out of it. All right, yeah. To give you an experience of akartritvam. And so, so now you look at anybody's digital diary, and what will be there? Appointments, whole day appointments. First this, then that, then I have to go here, I'm expected here, and these are my duties, and then after that I come home, and then what? I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to put the food on the table, literally, and then go to sleep. And all these you will not find in somebody's diary. Very rarely you will find this is nothing time, actionless time. It will never be there. That we forget to put that in the diary. We forget to have, as Pujya Swamiji would say, an appointment with ourselves. We forget to have that. What is the appointment? With people, with things. There are people to see, places to go, things to do. This is how I connect with the Jagat. My connection as a jiva with the Jagat is only through action. Eva, this evakara is here is to be brought here for karma and tapas also. So then this is how I connect to the Jagat. But now this Jagat has been told, he has been transformed into Ishvara. And therefore what? Karma, actions must be transformed into what? Into into Karma Yoga. Karma must be transformed into Karma Yoga. What else? If Jagat is Ishvara and Karma is the only way of connecting to Ishvara that I have, then that Karma must be transformed into Yoga, into a way of connection, into a way of growth, inner growth, so that I can recognize this Ishvara that is being presented. And so the karma, when it becomes yoga, I can see Ishvara, I can understand Ishvara. When karma is yoga, I can easily understand, I can comprehend. Because everything that I am doing, all the waking up at 6 o'clock, going to the meeting, cooking, cleaning, everything, there is the presence of Ishvara. This awareness itself is Karma Yoga. It's the beginning of Karma Yoga. That is one half of Karma Yoga, is awareness, mindfulness of Ishvara in all my actions. That I am interacting with Bhagavan in the form of my actions. That my actions are a bridge to understand the non-separation. This has to be assimilated. And so that's why karma is given here. Purusha eva idagam sarvam. So the Vishwa has been swallowed, the Jagat has been swallowed. Now I am here by myself. What to do? No. I also want in. I want in the fun. I want to be part of this. All right. It's not too late. There is a bridge. Use your actions as a bridge to see the non-separateness. So that you have the capacity to act is what? Ishvara. That you have the desire to act, Ishvara. That you have the brains to understand what actions should be done and what actions are inimical to your growth, Ishvara. That is all Ishvara. And so now the swallowing the Jagat, the whole Jivatvam is also being swallowed up. There is no such thing as Jivaness, Jivahood. And all that there is Ishvara alone. Very beautiful verse. And so my actions, when the actions are purified, and purified means scrubbed off, difficult to remove raga dvesha stains. Yeah, scrubbed off the raga dvesha residues. What kind of raga dveshas? Binding raga dveshas. Raga dveshas that create a kind of a stranglehold. Those are removed. Those are set aside. Those are, if not set aside, at least suspended. At least suspended during Shravanam. and then you can increase their suspension for longer and longer through practice. And so the raga dveshas are resolved, and when and the karma is freed of my own agenda, to do this. I'll do this for the sake of karma phala. This is why bhogaya sarvam karma. All the karma is for eking out some enjoyment. Nobody is a karta for the sake of being a karta. Nobody says I want to do because I I love to do. Nobody says that. Doing is for the sake of some returns. I should reap some returns. Without returns, who will do? And the doing is for the sake of becoming famous or doing something to get rich. So some name is there, some power is there, some kind of fame is there, something. I want, in other words, all one's doings is to be like Ishvara. What do you mean be like Ishvara? We have seen earlier in a different contexts. Ishvara is the one, Bhagavan is the one who has 6 bhagas, 6 kinds of powers in full measure. What are they? Aishwarya, overlordship. I too want to be the overlord. I don't want to be the underdog. I want to be the overlord. I want to have overlordship. That's what all karma is geared towards that. The individual wants to shine. Why? Because I want to be the best. Then what will you get out of being the best? They'll give me a promotion. So what? Then I'll have more people under me. This is where it goes. This is where all the arguments go. Like Bhagavan, I want Aishwarya. Bhagavan's Aishwarya is complete, and your Aishwarya is what? Lacking, because no matter how many people you have under you, there will be always, some people above you, looking down on you, literally and figuratively. Then Aishwarya, then what else? Jnanam. I want to keep knowing. Bhagavan is samagram jnanam, all knowledge. I too cannot stand ignorance. I want to keep knowing. And for that I keep doing, thinking that the doing is leading me to knowing. I put myself in various situations of knowing. Still it is never enough. No matter how much I accomplish. Somebody came and told me, I'm getting my 3rd PhD degree. I had only one word response. I just said, why? Why? That's all. What else is there to say? And so keep wanting to be like Bhagavan in terms of knowledge, be like Bhagavan in terms of the second Bhaga, Aishwarya, overlordship. Be like Bhagavan in terms of Samarthya, power, Virya. And what is this Virya? The ability to create, the ability to sustain, the ability to take back. But usually what we find is the jivas have either starting trouble or ending trouble or trouble in between, sustaining trouble. Some trouble is there. And then Samagra Shri, all wealth belongs to Bhagavan. Why not to me? The jiva says, I want to be wealthy. I want to go here, go there, and all these things. I want to explore space in a craft. And then having done that, still the sense of inadequacy has not gone. The sense of inadequacy centered on the self is not gone. So what do? I want to go explore the depths of the ocean. That sad disaster, all the people are thanking themselves, those who did not go on that. Apparently they had a chance to go. They said no. And that's the reason, that's the only reason they are alive today. So like this, all these things come from what? This Shri. I want abundance. I want the money to be able to do all these things. And here is Shri, overlordship, everything. I want to be all pervasive like Bhagavan. I am in the sky, I am in space, I am in the bottom of the ocean. Of course, not at the same time, unfortunately, but at least one by one, I can fulfill these desires. So, Samagra Shrihi, Samagram Jnanam, Aishwaryam. And then, what else? Viryam. And then, Samagram Vairagyam. Here I don't want to be like Bhagavan. This is perhaps one place where I either don't want to be or I cannot be like Bhagavan. Bhagavan has all knowledge, all resources, everything belongs to Bhagavan, but Bhagavan is not affected by all this. There is no sense of possession. But here the jiva clings, the jiva, even the clingiest jiva, wishes it could let go. Wishes it could let go. And the last bhaga, not last, I mean, there is no order here. I mean, there may be an order, but we are not discussing it in order. Last bhaga is yashas. Yashas means fame. You Google the word Ishvara and see how many hits it has. And then you Google your name and see what comes up. So, Bhagavan is all fame. Despite of difference in religion, everybody knows. You Google God and see how much comes. Everybody knows Bhagavan. Everybody knows, even though they don't know the nature of Bhagavan, that there is Bhagavan. Everybody knows. Very famous. And famous through all the stories. Whether you take biblical stories or whether you take stories in the Quran or whether you take stories in the Veda. Very, or you take Buddhist stories. There is Bhagavan everywhere. The presence of Bhagavan is there. Very famous. And I too want to be famous. This is the Jiva's lot. The Jiva wants to be just like Bhagavan. You can spend lifetime after lifetime wanting to be just like Bhagavan, or you can study this verse and see that you are already Bhagavan. You're already one with Bhagavan, and then instead of using the karma, using your actions in order to be Bhagavan-esque, Ishvara-like, Bhagavan-like, Ishvara-esque, whatever, you can use that karma as a yoga to make a bridge between yourself and the self-ignorance which has as though separated oneself from Bhagavan. Those are the only two choices. Otherwise, karma is used to be like Bhagavan, to create some kind of a parallel reality where I am also famous, I am also rich, I am also limitless, relatively speaking. I am also full of overlordship. I also have power. You can do that, no problem. But you will always be wanting. The Purusha here will always be sleeping the sleep of ignorance, the first derivation. But then, when you convert karma into yoga, what happens? Something beautiful happens. Karma is not for the sake of getting bhagas, various bhagas to become like Bhagavan. Karma is for the sake of attacking those ragadveshas which keep me away from knowing that I don't have to become Bhagavan, I have to just know that I am already Bhagavan. This is what is the difference. This is what has to be understood properly. And therefore, this mantra, karma, this karma is where the jiva comes in. The jiva walks in with the concept of karma. And here karma is action, and action that is in keeping with what I need for my self-growth. Action that is rid of raga dveshas. Meaning, action it's difficult to rid the action of raga dveshas, but you can say, I'm doing this action to help the raga dveshas settle. And so how to do this action? I'm doing this action not for the sake of some phala, not for the sake of getting something. Then what am I doing this action for? I'm doing this action for my own growth. So when you're doing something that you have to do, that is enjoined for you to do, like fulfill a role. Son, daughter, mother, father, spouse, employer, employee, these are all roles. I learn to fulfill these roles, but at the same time, I know that I am not the role. Role is me, but I am not the role. Role is Ishvara. Role is given by Ishvara. And who is this? This is Ishvara fulfilling various roles. And so the person, the Purusha, and the role, uh, are one and the same in a sense that the role is the person, but the person is not the role. When the person rolls into the role, then there is a lot of sorrow, strife, and that is when it falls away from being defined as karma yoga. Karma yoga means I have an idea of who I am. What am I? A simple conscious being, a devotee that is trying to grow, to be Ishvara, not through trying to gain overlordship, power and money, fame, etc. Not through that, but through the understanding. From the realm of doing, I move to understanding by limiting what I do to those things that need to be done. And those things that need to be done are done in a spirit of what? In a spirit of offering, sacrifice, worship, in a spirit of worship. That is how the growth takes place. And so that is the karma. So through my karma, I obliterate this difference, the so-called difference between myself and Ishvara. This difference I take away through my own actions, which have been purified through the awareness of Ishvara, through the awareness that karma itself is Ishvara, the capacity to do karma is Ishvara, and doing karma is a form of aradhana, worship of Ishvara. Through these mechanisms, this difference between myself and Ishvara, seen as something which is very, very difficult to bridge, is obliterated. Because I'm not trying to gain things out of the action. In fact, I'm trying to lose things from the action. I'm trying to lose stubborn ways of being. I'm trying to lose the very recalcitrant and stubborn raga dveshas. These are what I'm trying to lose. I'm not trying to gain through action. It's a lose-win situation. The more I lose, the more I win in terms of self-knowledge. And then we have another word, tapaha. And tapaha means the austerities. Various kinds of austerities in the, what is that? Various kinds of austerities are pointed out in the upasana portion of the Veda. So various kinds of meditations and tapas, etc. is given. And so tapaha, there are two ways we can take. We can take karma as laukika karma and tapaha as vaidika karma. We can take karma as everyday actions and tapaha as prayerful actions. But in the light of what we have discussed, that could be one meaning, but in the light of what we have discussed, that is not the ultimate meaning. That does not make much sense also, because what we are trying to do is spiritualize all our actions rather than have two sets of actions, one religious and one profane or mundane. And so therefore, what are we doing here? So how do we understand tapaha? We understand tapaha as karma phala, punya. The punya of actions that are in keeping with what is to be done and what is not to be done. So tapas here is karma. So through karma and karma phala, Tapas is the upalakshana, an example for karma phala. So through karma and karma phala, what do I do? First the Vishwa, the whole Jagat is swallowed up, and now the Jiva is also going to be swallowed up as a separate complaining entity. Oh, but there will be no Jiva, no need to cry. You will be Ishvara, that's all. No need to cry over the fact that Jiva is not going to be there as a separate, complaining, troubling entity. So, Purusha eva idam vishvam karma tapo brahma paramritam. So, karma and karma phala. This is karma phala. Tapaha is karma phala. This is karma phala. Is the way to is the way to understand this. It's a very beautiful description. Very nice. The world is nothing but karma and tapaha. Karma means various actions, including the results of action, and tapaha means meditation, which is another type of action, mental action. That's all it is. So tapaha means upasanayaha phalam. All the good karmas, yielded the good karma phalas, punyas. So the whole world is nothing but punya and papa of humanity. Think about this. The very interesting definition of the world. The entire world is nothing but the kind of a kernel of one's own papa and punya. Think about this. If you're experiencing a body, then what is the result? What is the body the result of? You have to say karma. Karma alone, karma phala. And then if you are experiencing a mind, what is that? That is again the result of karma. If you are living in a house, what is that? Result of karma. If you have a job, what is that? Result of karma. No, I worked really hard for this job. It could not be past karma. Okay, it's present day karma. In this life you worked hard and you got this job, no problem with that. That is also result of karma alone. In fact, the whole world is the conglomerate of the experience of papa punya of humanity. It's just amazing. So the whole world suddenly has been flipped and made into jiva centric. So the jiva's papa punya, especially the human, that which has been accrued in a human life, because donkey, monkey don't have karma. And here, monkeys sometimes bite people here, and still they don't get bad karma. We just have to send out a notice to the people. Don't do this, don't make eye contact, don't go here, don't go there, carry a stick, and all these things. Go in groups, and all these things we have to say. We don't try to train the monkey. These are all brahmacharis, don't go after them. We don't train the monkey here. And so it's the humanity's papa punya alone. Humanity's punya karma. And whatever we experience, including all the 14 lokas, this loka, that loka, wherever people want to go, it is all the punya papa alone. And punya papa does not exist independently. Listen to this carefully. Punya and papa does not exist independently. They do not exist independently of A, the jiva, and B, the jagat. Yes, that's what it is. So without jagat, how are you going to experience punya papa? You need a place where a stomping ground for the punya papa to be there, and for to have certain sandarbha. Sandarbha means certain kinds of circumstances where this experience can be understood and had. So you need a playground where this punya papa can unfold. So the world is a carpet, which is your playground, and the carpet is rolled out, and then what? You step on the carpet at birth, and then you play various games. Or sometimes the world plays games with you, doesn't matter. You play various games. You kick the ball from this side to that side. And then it's just like a whole fair on this carpet. This carpet is like a mela. So many booths. Some places you eat, some places you go and do some work, some booths you just enjoy. So all these things constitute the world. Without your own papa punya, there is no world. In fact, that which connects the Ishvara to you is the world where Papa Punya are going to be unfolded and experienced. But then I don't want to connect to Ishvara through Papa Punya. All right, gain the knowledge. And the carpet of the universe, the carpet of karma, is rolled up completely. Is rolled up. There is no more carpet of Papa Punya. Nothing at all. Why? Because I have understood I am not the Karta. When the Karta is falsified, karma is also falsified. Papa Punya is no longer applicable. That is where then the Papa Punya goes away. The concept of Papa and Punya is dropped. The carpet of Papa Punya gets rolled up, and then when the Papa Punya gets rolled up, for you, the Jagat is rolled up. The Jagat is also rolled up. Maya rolls up the carpet called the Jagat. All that is there is you as Ishvara. This is very, very beautiful verse, very nice verse. And so this Papa Punya is the cause both of insecurity and it can also be the cause of security. Papa Punya is the cause of insecurity because it is seen as frightening. And because it is seen as frightening, because you don't know the future, people can run to Ishvara in distress, which is not a bad thing. You run to Ishvara in distress, and then Papa Punya is there, and then this is what is the problem. You run to Ishvara in distress because you have a problem. So this is one way Papa Punya brings you to Ishvara, at least on the relative sense. Yes, there is Dvaitam, there is duality, but better to run to Ishvara in prayer than to say, I am what? I am just I'm just going to rob a bank. I'm going to do this. So therefore, this is the Papa Punya is bringing me to Ishvara in the form of prayer. It becomes an anchor. Ishvara becomes an anchor, both in the relative and the absolute sense. Just like here in Rishikesh, when you walk by the Ganga, you have you have the steps to go into the water, and the Ganga must not be toyed with. She has undercurrents, she has riptides, and even she can flummox even the most experienced swimmers. So if you try to go for a dip, then there is that soft silty sand that also starts moving and you start moving along with it. Before you know it, you have been washed away from the bank. You have been taken away. And then you are scared because you don't know how to swim, and even if you know how to swim, it is difficult. And so therefore what? So therefore the problem here is how to bathe in the Ganga, how to enjoy the Ganga without being afraid for my life. And so we find that there are at certain intervals very thick chains that have been bolted to the steps. So the devotee can very happily and confidently catch hold of the chain and then get into the water and splash around, play. Even if the silt is moving, if the water is moving, the waves are moving, the undercurrents are moving, I still have this chain. I can enjoy the Ganga bath, the Ganga dip. Why? Because there is this chain. So similarly, moving in the world of Papa Punya, moving in the world of karma, action, and karma phala, the result of action, one can get unmoored. So the chain of Ishvara in the form of awareness, first as the recipient of all my actions and prayers, and next as one grows as the truth of myself. That anchor with because of whom all the nama rupas are there, in and through the nama rupas, in and through the bubbles, the foam, the riptides, and the silt, the sand, and other people, other bathers and swimmers. I am holding on to that truth, Brahma Paramritam. Like I hold on to the chain, I'm holding on to that truth, and that is what is going to get me to a place of safety. And then more about the Jivatma we will see in the next class, which is when mid July. Okay, yeah, so sometime in mid July we'll see. All right, yeah. 2 weeks from now you can do the math. Yeah. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. There is a question. Yeah, Shastra is understanding your experience. That's what we do. That's why we use experience to understand the Shastra. But experience is not a substitute for the Shastra. That we have to remember. Om Tat Sat. Yeah, can somebody give me the date while you are still here? Just look up the date. Next one.
9th of July.
9th. That is, yeah. So, okay. 9th of July. Okay, thank you. Om Tat Sat. Please update the website as well. Om.